One of the hardest things to do is trying to be yourself, but it's hard when you don't know who that person is. So, trying to find your way in life through the confusion, through the isolation, it tears you apart. I just want you to understand that words do hurt, but it's also a way to cope or to deal with the pain that lies underneath. So, here's my story. I pray that there are better days when the dark is gone, dodging monsoon rains in a bitter storm. We all see the smiles, but they're soon gone. This fractured mass, I refuse to let depression and anxiety know that it's won. So don't use what you deem comfortable. So many see this angry person, I see the obstacles. So many say that anger resides, I can see possible because I'm conflicted 50-50 on the probables. Don't let your mind roam. Don't tell yourself constantly that you have to be strong. Contemplating negative thoughts becomes a mental poem. It makes it so easy just to fall. Memories bleeding, no hope for tomorrow. Just tell someone you love them. But you don't have to say sorry. You are not a burden. You are not a target. Isolation only makes you fall further. You need love. Sometimes we go through what can't be explained verbally, but I hope that we start with visuals to empathize with others and emphasize that mental health does what it does to the mind. Don't be blinded by the smiles. Just tell someone that you love them. Peace and love. I wake up full of regrets. Never knew of a time that I would see this as neglect. Became bruised over time. You weren't through me yet. I thought I was bulletproof, but hollows went through my vest. The tightness surrounded, it went through my chest. I hate waking up, wanting to get back in bed, but I pushed forward, despite the lies that you said. I even took a piece of glass and I bled, only to be right where I started. I can't seem to forget all the words that people say to me and take me for granted, so I respond angrily. Sometimes I hate being home on my own. Sometimes I cry in fetal positions. I try to open up, but no one seems to listen, even though I've been told to dial digits. But simple messages go unanswered, so I don't believe it. I'm comfortable where I'm at, but I'm attached to these demons that aren't good for me. But I can't break free as I'm being in control mentally. Depression can't be seen, but it's often ignored. Detrimental, so I find myself still on the floor. I was 22. First time I felt confusion, the heaviness, agitation, and irritability fused in. I couldn't concentrate, couldn't sleep, and I kept it in, thinking one day maybe this emptiness would end. But those negative thoughts kept pulling me in. Alcohol and a balcony will become my best friend, but it's an illusion. I can't explain what you've done to me. Too afraid to speak, don't want to be judged by the things that I say. So, one day, I got down on my knees and I prayed. I remember those nights staring at the ceiling, screaming, but it felt like no one could hear me. Running from fear while isolation was in me. You don't understand what it feels to be lost. Hope for me was very dim in the dark, praying every day that God would give me a spark or take away the pain that was etched in my heart. But silence is all that I got. Thought about being stuck in this maze, cloudy future, all I see is nothing but grays. And I'm vulnerable, hoping I don't end up in a grave. I want you to know that you are not alone in this struggle. I wonder if God will ever tell me something, if I'm going the right direction. Will I fall in these puddles? Everything people think that I am is far from the truth. I'm afraid of life, but I refuse to be trapped with everything to lose. Depression and anxiety does not define. I'm wondering, but take note that you're still behind me. But it don't matter, as I refuse to die with it entirely. My past does not define me, and in the present I'm taking note of all the times you lied to me. I'm moving forward. I'm accepting the scars. I'm accepting that mental health is a journey, not a job. I'm accepting vulnerability because I know I have God. And I'm telling anxiety and depression every day that it's wrong. I still fall, but I still crawl until I get the strength to stand back up, because enough is enough. You are relentless, but I have the strength to get back up. I didn't think that it would feel like an ant being sucked away by life. It's so easy to get lost within the darkness and be attracted by alcohol and knives. Pacing back and forth without a path, no caution, just full blast. I display the smile, but it's a mask, covering up that I'm dependent on this glass. And I claim you when I'm mad, as if you're good for me, but deep down I'm deteriorating mentally. Have you ever tried yanking on a door that's locked? I'll take a sip of this alcohol, hoping that the negative thoughts will stop, but it only numbs in a moment. And yet I feel great, but only for a moment. It only takes seconds for depression to drag you in, and you cage within sin and making thoughts available with a pen. Resistance doesn't work. It's like holding on to baggage or carrying luggage, but it's a curse. I'll just sip more of this wine that I hold, knowing it's just a poison to the lies that arose. More like an addiction. Buying bottles as logic hasn't hit me yet. This fix becomes ineffective as time passes, going downhill with brakes, but you're still crashing, only to wake in a nightmare, idolizing knives like it's a passion. Well, passion is killing me. I went from liquor to razors and knives that's controlling the enemy, and I become an enemy to those in front of me, but you don't recognize the holes where hope would be. But it's not now. The anxiety rises, looking for signs, but apparently it's not found. How do you stop an entity that's never around, at least in the physical? I've broken glasses without even meaning to, only to place it in my hand as if it's the welcome to an interview. I don't know you, but I do. I know the cuts on my arms that never left, and those scars that are showing up transparent. I can't stand it, but I do what I do, and hosting my plane lands without fuel. Beautiful temptations. There's no way you're coming out unscathed, but I will prevail. Their past. Sometimes the truth hurt more than lies. I let my mind take over, thinking I forget the cries. I needed help, but didn't get it because of fear. Never thought I hurt myself, drowning in alcohol, and over time, I lost my breath. Sometimes you see the roots, but then it hides. Sometimes I see the scribble, but yet the thoughts are flamboyant at night. At the time, I didn't want to be a bother, thinking that isolation is better than spilling thoughts in blackened waters. And I was wrong. Said I would never consider suicide, but when I hit rock bottom, knives are what I held at night. Each time the cuts got deeper, but it made me feel good. When emotions get bottled up, I lose cap and explodes. I know you probably hear this every day, but I still feel lost. But I'm more accepting of my mental flaws. And people are deceptive when it comes to matters of the heart, because every time I'm in the woods trying to dig mines up, there were days of me dealing with so much anger that switched to sadness. I felt some days I came out strangled. I remember being at war with self because I didn't know who I was. This should not hope, but at the end of the day, I wasn't depressed, but left in a mess, crying more tears than ever before, hoping I don't wait to deal with the pain anymore. The many thoughts that deceive you into drinking or cutting with a blade or terrible decisions. Scars prevalent. I just hope that further in life I can remove the mask. My veins are darker and filled with glass, hoping to restore all the pieces to my hourglass. I used to smile, but that has since vanished unintentionally. But I realized that the lies that did or was told did so intentionally to let me fall. I must continue, and although painful, I am willing to sacrifice this identity to heal my fragile one. I must continue to grow. I want this to change so I can be more willing to steer with paddles, and go. Notice what is written on the hollow frame. All that remain are embers, blown away by disappointments, by my vulnerability. I withdraw so no one gets too close as self-esteem dwindles its dread. I guess it's more than being in my head. But I'm glad I have more positive things to say, to think. I will not let the darkness win. I'm trying to start over, but please tell me, where should I begin? I'm running and jumping over gates with no end, but I have hope that I won't be contained within these walls with rigorous mountainous terrains and no boat. I guess the old abuse in me has hope.